Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a Wednesday. We have a midweek podcast coming on. It was a slow weekend this past weekend in sports, and also our regular Monday analyst, Jason Cameron, still recovering from his car accident and unable to join us on Monday. We were away for a few days over on the Sunshine Coast, beautiful spot. If you've never been, make a trip over there. There's so much to see, so much beauty, uh, great hospitality, a lot of amazing places to go. Fully recommend it. It was nice to get away and have a vacation, and but it's nice to return and get back to the world of sports. We have a huge, busy week ahead. Tons to talk about. It's a phenomenal last week of the regular season of the NBA, which is always exciting as the playoff matchups emerge. We've got these play-in tournaments now with the last 4 teams in each conference from 7 to 10. And first week of Major League Baseball, games will kick off tomorrow, and a couple of games have been postponed so far because of inclement weather, but we will have I think about 7 games on the docket on Thursday, and big games on Friday with the Blue Jays playing the Rangers. The Yankees game that was supposed to be on Thursday has been pushed to Friday now against the Red Sox. The Mariners will be playing the Twins, and on and on and on. Lots of your favorite teams will be in action. A full 162 game season that seemed unlikely during this off season as they battled over a CBA agreement, but we have a full season, so excitement. Great here in Canada because the Blue Jays will finally, after a couple of seasons away, will get 81 home dates here in Canada. They should have a bit of an advantage because they will not be allowing unvaccinated players to play here north of the border. And so some of the big names that haven't been vaccinated in Major League Baseball will not be able to attend. That might help out having a little bit depleted rosters. Some of their rivals and some of the teams that will be coming in, we'll see that story emerge as the season goes by. Okay, also, we've got the Masters golf tournament and the return of Tiger Woods. That's been getting a ton of media and ton of press. About 14 months ago in February of 2021, Tiger Woods was involved in a single car crash, rolled over and severely injured in the crash. They said fighting for his life at the time. His leg was shattered, broken, compound fracture to his tibia and fibula, and he was in jeopardy of losing his leg. In fact, they considered amputation. Thankfully, he was able to emerge from that, go into surgery, go into extensive rehab, and he has emerged back onto the golf course where he's won 5 championships, 5 green jackets, and the Masters tournament is just not the same without Tiger. Now that he's back, the crowds have come back. They call them the patrons there in Augusta, and the patrons are in full force. The Monday practice sessions that he was going through with Justin Thomas and Freddie Couples was amazing. It was raucous. The crowds were so deep and in full throat. It was pretty fun to watch. They got the par 3 contest just starting today. They've had some inclement weather there as well. They had to evacuate the course yesterday and today, but today they will go through this par 3 contest, which is always fun. A lot of the kids get to don the white jumpsuits and be with their fathers, and there's always a lot of fun things to go on. So the tournament kicks off tomorrow. I'll go through some of the favorites and give you the tee times and stuff like that as well. Yeah, I do want to mention Jason Cameron. We hear you're on the mend. We hope the worst is way behind you and you're going to be recovering very soon from this car accident. We miss you, and we can't wait to get your great takes and analysis on the world of sports. As I mentioned, quiet weekend behind us. Two things that I do want to mention was the college basketball March Madness tournament finally reached its culmination on Monday night. Phenomenal games on Saturday and the Final Four to get the big matchup that ended up being an epic game. The Kansas Jayhawks are national champions for a fourth time, second time in the Bill Self era, and it was a really amazing game against the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina has won 6 championships in their history, and as an 8th seed, they shocked the world by getting all the way to the title under first-year head coach Hubert Davis, and they were playing amazingly well in the first half, up 40-25, even 16-point advantage at one point. And the Jayhawks went into the locker room, made some adjustments, and came out like a ball on fire in that second half. Within 7 minutes, they had erased that 15-point deficit and went on to a huge win. North Carolina's middleman center, Armando Bacot, was pretty banged up going into the game, had suffered a severe ankle injury, was hobbled quite a bit, but was playing great up until the final minute of the game, where he severely twisted and re-aggravated his ankle injury, had to leave the court. And David McCormack was able to take advantage and get the winning bucket, a couple of really big buckets down the stretch there in the last minute to give Kansas the 72-69 victory and delight all the fans there in Kansas. It was, it was a really, really epic game. What an amazing comeback. The biggest comeback in NCAA final history in college basketball. It was spectacular. Also, the return of Kyle Lowry to Toronto after being traded in May of 2020, with the Raptors not being home much since, and they finally had an opportunity to show their love and support for probably the best point guard that ever played for the Raptors. 9 seasons there, bringing them their lone championship, and one of the rare guys that comes back to a city and gets 100% support. A lot of times people get a little upset when their heroes leave, and this one, it just definitely seemed like he was getting complete love from everybody. The tribute video was so well put together. The ceremony was nice. I do wish he would have grabbed the microphone and talked a little bit, but he had his sons there with him watching the video, and then they came to center court and waved to the crowd, and it was a love fest that was really special to watch. Very fun, and just to see his when he first emerged there, he seemed like such a young guy, and he was able to just really make Toronto his home and get the Raptors into the playoffs year after year after year. The Raptors just were able to lock down a playoff spot last night for the 8th time in the last 9 seasons. They didn't make it during that last season, but yeah, it was phenomenal to watch. Really great to see Toronto be able to throw their love to Kyle Lowry and all of Canada, through that support. to the Raptors in the 2019 run to their championship. And yeah, it was special and fun, and I'm really glad I got to witness that game. And yeah, the passing of the torch to Fred VanVleet, kind of symbolic. Freddie was able to pass Kyle Lowry in the single season 3-point record. He was able to get his 239th three-pointer in that game to pass Kyle. And unfortunately, the Raptors did suffer a defeat to Miami, but last night they were able to beat the Atlanta Hawks and solidify their spot in the top 6 in the playoffs, so they will not have to endure a play-in game. They are currently 5th, passing Chicago Bulls last night, who lost another one and are struggling right now. Be amazing to see the Raptors in 5th place, and yeah, really looking solid going into this playoffs. Siakam's playing great. OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, as I mentioned before, Scotty Barnes, their amazing rookie, having a rookie of the year type season, and somebody that yeah, the support has also been very strong for. He's showing so much every night, and supporting cast: Gary Trent Jr., Kem Birch. A lot of the guys from the bench are stepping up and playing great for Nick Nurse and the Raptors, and it's been fun. Yeah, last week of the regular season, one of the biggest news today is that the LA Lakers were eliminated from playoff contention last night when they lost to the Phoenix Suns, and the San Antonio Spurs beat the Denver Nuggets. And that shocked the world because they were one of the early favorites to win the championship going into this regular season. Them and Brooklyn were supposed to be on a collision course as they both assembled these super teams, and yeah, it wasn't the case. The Lakers just couldn't get on track, especially after the All-Star break. They really had some difficulties and issues, and it was it was not meant to be. 4-17 since the All-Star break, and yeah, they just looked horrible. This was an experiment gone wrong. Russell Westbrook didn't fit there. These aging team had so many injury troubles, and LeBron threw the team on his back and tried. He's the scoring leader right now in the NBA, but he was hurt last night and wasn't able to be able to pull it together. We just have a lot to cover today. It's phenomenal week. Major League Baseball is kicking off the opening week. UFC returns after a week off. UFC 273 has 2 title fights. They're going to be competing out of Jacksonville, Florida. And yeah, we can't wait to talk about that. The Canadian women's soccer team is playing 2 games locally here in BC against Nigeria. Friday night here at BC Place, and on Monday in Langford over on the island just outside Victoria. The Canadian women's Olympic soccer team was so amazing to watch. They finally got over the hurdle and beat the Americans, and were able to go into the championship game and get the gold medal, and really united the country. Really was the catalyst and the kickstart that the men needed as well. And John Herdman moved over from the women's program to the men's program, and were able to help them get their World Cup qualifying berth just over the past couple of weeks. And yeah, Canadian soccer has never been on such a high. It will be so nice to be able to go and cheer on these women that gave us such a thrill in February during the Olympics. And yeah, I'm glad they're coming here for a couple of great games against Nigeria. We've got tickets to head to on on Friday night. So yeah, just tons of things to go through. As I mentioned, the NCAA Monday was really fun. What a tournament! Obviously, St. Peter's were that Cinderella darling that were able to come in as a 15th seed, knock off Kentucky and Purdue and others, Murray State, and then to make the Elite Eight was really a great run for this little school out of Jersey City, Jersey. Unfortunately, when you get that success, a lot of the guys do leave. The coach has already promised to go to Seton Hall now, his former alma mater, and as well as three of their top players have decided to transfer to bigger programs and bigger schools. But good on the program. I think it'll help the recruitment and hopefully they get opportunities again. It was their first ever win in the NCAA tournament. They were able to get 3 big wins and join that Elite Eight. As I mentioned, North Carolina was also one of those Cinderella darlings. Number 8 seed, they were able to go all the way to the final. It was amazing to watch how they came together under the first-year head coach Hubert Davis, former Tar Heel there as well. Armando Bacot was just a super amazing force inside. 15 points, 15 rebounds on that wonky ankle. It's really too bad that he couldn't finish that game because they might have been able to pull that victory out with him. RJ Davis also had 15 points and 12 rebounds. So did Brady Manick, 15 and 12. Caleb Love had 13. Caleb had the game-tying shot in his hands, launched it from 3 and was a little short on it, unfortunately. And I got to mention Puff Johnson. He came in and played phenomenal at the end there. In only 18 minutes, he had 11 points and 6 rebounds. Was able to get a couple of big steals and yeah, just looked great in his limited appearance. But Kansas Jayhawks, 4 championships in their history. David McCormack was very big inside and got those 2 late buckets to pull out the win. 15 points and 10 rebounds for him. Christian Brown had 12 points, 12 rebounds. Jalen Wilson had 15 points, a few really great threes. Remy Martin 14 and Ochai Obaji had 12 points. Yeah, and Bill Self kind of puts himself more in the conversation as one of those greatest coaches ever. He was only on 1 championship for a long time, and a lot of people had said that he had sort of fallen short with some of the teams that he had brought to the tournament. They thought he should have a few more titles, but 2 championships really can solidify a Hall of Fame career. And Kansas, what a year, 34-6, the only team number 1 seed to go all the way, and they had a great year and amazing tournament as always. What a pleasure it is to watch. So many upsets, so many fun things that come together. It was an absolute blast, and we're excited. Yeah, that the tournament was as good as it always is. I want to turn to the NBA a little bit. As I said, last week of the regular season, let's look at the standings and kind of go through those top 10 teams in both conferences. It should be really fun to check them out and yeah, start how these playoff matchups are going to sort of emerge. The Heat still sit atop the conference, Eastern Conference, 52-28, 2.5 game lead on the Celtics, Bucks, and the Sixers. With only a few games left to play, it kind of looks like Miami's in number 1 spot, and they'll get to play the number 8 seed when the play-in tournament emerges. Who knows how it's going to turn out with the Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers. They really will be jockeying for position. They're all on winning streaks. Those top 5 teams have all won at least 1 game, and The Heat have won 5 in a row. The Sixers have won 3 in a row. I still would really lean towards the Milwaukee Bucks as my favorite to emerge out of the Eastern Conference. I think we're going to see a rematch. Last year, I think Phoenix, in losing to Milwaukee last year, they figured out what they needed to be a little bit better, and they have been the class of the NBA this year. And I think we're going to see the Bucks Suns rematch with the Suns pulling out the win this time. The Raptors, huge win last night. They are 7-3 in their last 10, and really looking great. Nice to see them. They were looking like they were going to be in this play-in tournament for a really long time, but going on such a nice run lately. They are actually sitting in 5th place and have an opportunity to, they had an opportunity to pass the Bulls, who have been really struggling lately. And I don't think the Raptors are going to have any chance of catching the other ones. So it looks like 5th place is probably in the cards. And that would be a date with the 76ers. And a lot of people think that that's probably their best matchup, being that the Sixers, just haven't been able to get cohesively together since James Harden has got there in the trade for Ben Simmons. But possibly the Raptors face the 76ers and get a victory and move on to the second round. Let's move down to the Cavs. They're struggling lately. 3-7. Jared Allen was such a massive blow to their hopes of getting up into that top 6 and a guaranteed playoff spot. They look to be playing the Nets at this point. The Nets went from 10th to 8th last night with their win. The Hawks lost and the Hornets lost, so they dropped down to 9th and 10th. But these are the top 10 teams that we're going to see. We're going to see the play-in games from April 12th to 15th this weekend. Looks like the Cavs and Nets will play to get that 7th place. The loser of that will play the winner of the 9-10 position Hawks Hornets game. And I think the Hawks are the team that will probably emerge out of that. So I think we're going to see the Nets and Hawks play for, or the Nets or the Hawks and the Cavs play for that 8th position. I think the Nets will probably fall into 7th. So anyway, let's just drop to the Western Conference. And as I mentioned, the Suns, best team in the league by far this year, 8-2 in their last 10. 32-8 at home and 31-8 on the road, and just amazing how great they've been all season. They just set their franchise record for wins last night with the 63rd win over the Lakers, and dropped the Lakers out of the playoff race. Best Suns regular season record ever. Grizzlies, what a great season. Even without Ja Morant, just really solid team. 8 games back, but still having a phenomenal year with 55 wins. The Warriors have been struggling mightily since Steph Curry went down. Only 11 minutes have been played together between Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Only 11 minutes those 3 guys have been able to play together this year. It's too bad. The injuries have decimated the Warriors over the last few seasons. We're hoping that Steph Curry can come back at the start of the playoffs and hopefully shake the rust off quick and show the world how their brand of basketball can win. We'll see if they can stay healthy. They've got a good legitimate chance to go far in the conference, but that health has not been there most of the season. Mavs have been playing great lately as well. Luka Doncic obviously is the catalyst there, but the big trade, Spencer Dinwiddie for Kristaps Porzingis, has been really, really big and helpful for the Mavericks. And they're finally playing some defense, which has always been their Achilles heel. Jazz had a big win last night. Now they're into 5th place there. Nuggets sit in 6th. Nikola Jokic has been instrumental in keeping them in a guaranteed playoff position. Let's see, down in 7th, it looks like the T-Wolves will finish 7th and the Clippers will finish 8th. And then the Pelicans and Spurs will battle it out for that 9th, 10th position. They'll be in the play-in game. We'll see. We'll see how if the Timberwolves can knock off the Clippers in that first play-in game. It'll sit exactly how it is, 7th, 8th, and then we'll see how the Pelicans Spurs go. Spurs had a huge win last night over the Nuggets, even without DeJounte Murray. But down there you see in 11th place, the Lakers. How the mighty have fallen. A lot of people predicted they were going to get into the final game this year and possibly emerge as victorious champions. But they have been just horrible lately, especially since the All-Star break, 4-17, and just unable to mount anything towards a playoff spot. So goodbye LeBron. He missed the playoffs the first year that he got to LA. He was hurt quite a bit and didn't have the team around him. But after winning a championship, making a lot of off-season deals and trying to pull it together, they are done now. So it's pretty bizarre. Okay, let's switch to the NHL. Just quickly go over the NHL and the standings there. Eastern Conference, the class of the conference this year really has been Florida. They're sitting at 104 points and trying to get that locked up for home ice advantage throughout the Eastern Conference and possibly even throughout the league. Colorado Avalanche will have something to say about that, but Florida had a huge comeback win last night. They were down 5-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs and were able to get a win 7-6 in overtime. They are such a high-powered offense, incredible. The highest scoring team in the league, and just looking great. Carolina's sitting in 2nd. They've been up there most of the year. Toronto and the Rangers tied at 96, 3rd and 4th place in the conference. Tampa has dropped down to 5th place with 93 points. And then Pittsburgh and Boston are sitting down in 6th and 7th. Washington has a comfortable lead over the rest of the pack. The Islanders and Columbus are falling by the wayside. It looks like those top 8s are solidified. So as of now, it's Washington, Florida, Carolina, Boston, or Pittsburgh. Toronto will play one of those teams, Boston, Pittsburgh, Rangers, and Tampa Bay, possibly on a collision course. So it's starting to get interesting. Typically, NHL's finished about this week, but they pushed their season a little bit further this year. So most teams have about 10 to 12 games to go. So but the Western Conference, I mentioned Colorado off the top, 106 points. What a year, 50 wins out of 70 games. They are definitely the class of the Western Conference. They have locked up a playoff position already and probably first overall. I don't think anybody's going to catch them. Calgary having a great year, sitting in 2nd place in the conference. Minnesota tied on points with them in 3rd. And then we've got St. Louis, Edmonton, LA, Nashville, and Dallas. Vegas was knocked out last night as both Nashville and Dallas got wins. Winnipeg and Vancouver are trailing in 10th and 11th place, and really the only teams left that have a shot at the playoffs, but it's starting to fade pretty badly. Vancouver with 12 games to go, but 9 points back of Dallas and 10 points back in Nashville. Yeah, it's starting to look like not likely that Winnipeg or Vancouver will be in that top 8. But yeah, it's been an amazing year for the NHL as well. The biggest stories that emerged this past week were Leon Draisaitl getting 50 points or 50 goals and 100 points, and Austin Matthews also being able to get his 50th goal, and then getting a hat trick and getting tying the Leafs record with Rick Vaive for 54 goals, most ever in a season for the Toronto Maple Leaf, which is crazy considering they have over 100-year history in their franchise. Leon Draisaitl is really, really far from tying the Oilers record for goals in a season, as Wayne Gretzky holds out 92. So not going to happen probably ever, but yeah, great season nonetheless for Leon Draisaitl and Austin Matthews, 2 of the top players in the league. The other big news this week was Ryan Getzlaf announcing that he is going to retire after 17 seasons. Won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim, won a couple of Olympic gold medals, and had a phenomenal career, about 1,000 points in Anaheim, and one of the leaders there for many years. And also Marian Hossa did announce that he will sign a 1-day contract on Thursday, tomorrow, with the Chicago Blackhawks, and end his career as a Hawk. Won 3 Stanley Cups with them, 1,300 points, Hall of Fame career out of Slovakia. One of the greatest European-born players ever. A really key piece in many teams trying to get to the playoffs. He went to the finals 3 years in a row with 3 different teams, and then finally went to Chicago and got those championships. And yeah, great to see a couple of guys get their just due, and yeah, get to retire on their terms and say thank you to all the fans and all the support. Okay, so as I mentioned, we should really get into the talk about the Masters. Tiger Woods has decided to come back. This is, he's had many comeback stories, but this one could be the greatest. He had to overcome such massive injuries to his leg. You can see him, stepping gingerly. Doesn't have that same gait anymore. With the undulations in the Masters terrain, it's going to be, it's going to be hard walk for him. And yeah, we'll see how he does, but you can never count that guy out. 82 wins on as a PGA Tour member, 15 majors, and yeah, some of the greatest comebacks we've ever seen. It was fun to watch him tee it up with Justin Thomas and Fred Couples over the last couple of days and start to try to get ready. 5-time winner, chasing Jack Nicklaus's 6 titles as the most ever. 683 weeks as the #1 player in the world. This is the 25th anniversary of his historic 97 Masters win, where he just blew the field away. Changed the landscape of golf, changed the entire trajectory of the sport, and started bringing in so much more eyeballs, so much more money, so much more notoriety to it. And yeah, what a 25 years it's been. Incredible. Yeah, some of the other stories that are emerging. Scotty Scheffler, first time playing a major as #1 in the world. He is in a group tomorrow that consists of Adam Scott and Tony Finau. They'll be teeing it off at 10:56 Eastern time, 7:56 a.m. Pacific. These times, I guess, maybe are considered tentative in a way, just because They have had some pretty bad weather there. They've had to evacuate the course on a couple of occasions already because lightning in the general vicinity in the area. And so, yeah, this course could be soggy. It could lack some patrons at times if they do have some more tough weather. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I want to mention Hideki Matsuyama, the defending champion. He tees off in the group right before that Scotty Scheffler group, 10:45 Eastern, 7:45 Pacific, with Justin Thomas, who is one of the favorites, number 7 in the world, and really working hard to get his name atop the leaderboard at some point. Tiger is in the group right before them. He tees off at 10:34 Eastern, 7:54 Pacific. He'll be playing with Louis Oosthuizen from South Africa and the Chilean Joaquin Newman. They will be playing together on Thursday and Friday as Tiger tries to make the cut again. He's only missed the cut one time in his Masters career, and that was in 1996 as an amateur before that historic 97 win. So good bet that he will make the cut. I don't know if he's going to be able to compete right at the top. A lot of guys have been saying that they see his game just as pretty solid and looking as good as they've seen him before. But yeah, we'll see. With the rust and the injury troubles that he's had, if he can get his body to do what he wants it to do. Okay, the next earlier group has Bryson DeChambeau, Cameron Smith, and Paul Casey. They start at 10:23 Eastern, 7:23 Pacific. Look for Cameron Smith to emerge as one of the top guys on the leaderboard as the tournament progresses. He's been playing phenomenal lately. The groupings with Kevin Kisner, Daniel Berger, and Tommy Fleetwood are 10:12, 7:12 Pacific. Canadian Mackenzie Hughes is in the 9:39 Eastern time group, 6:39 Pacific. He will be teeing it off with Matthew Wolff and Luke List. Corey Connors, the other Canadian, tees off at 12:13 p.m. Eastern, 9:13 Pacific, with Lee Westwood and Russell Henley. Let's see. Other key groupings are Dustin Johnson, Billy Horschel, and Colin Morikawa at 1:30 Eastern. The 1:41 Eastern time has John Rahm, the number 2 in the world. Will Zalatoris and Patrick Cantlay round out that grouping. Jordan Spieth. Who else? Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele at 1:52 Eastern, 10:52 Pacific. And the last group to tee off for the day are Rory McIlroy, going for his career Grand Slam, teeing it up with Brooks Koepka and Matthew Fitzpatrick at 2:03 Eastern, 11:03 Pacific. That's the last tee off time of the day on Thursday. So many other great players that I failed to mention, but it's hard to mention everybody. Sorry if I've missed out on your favorite player, somebody that you cheer for, or you're listening in, one of those players. It's not for it's not to say that I don't think you're going to do great. I just wanted to put out some of the most featured groups, and but there's always great stories emerging in the Masters. What a wonderful tournament. Glad to see the patrons back in full force, and it's just a absolutely amazing, great tournament. Looking forward to this par 3 today, and the tournament to start tomorrow, go through Sunday. Okay, so as I mentioned off the top, the women's soccer team had an amazing, very impressive performance in China during the Olympics, and were able to go on the run, win the gold medal, and give us all such a thrill here north of the border in Canada. They will be honored on Friday night here at BC Place. Get your tickets; they're still available. I saw some today. I looked it up, and there's still great tickets available. They're going to be playing Nigeria on back-to-back games, Friday and Monday. and here in Vancouver and over in Victoria and Langford at Starlight Stadium there. It'll be great to be able to cheer on those women that gave us such thrills. And as I said, yeah, they were really one of the main reasons and biggest catalysts why the men's soccer team has been able to get their success and been able to really, yeah, qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 36 years. John Herdman, yeah, should have a statue of him soon, being able to do this with the women's program and then the men's program. What an impressive performance. Yeah, I'm very excited to go to the game, and yeah, I'm very happy that they're having a couple games here. So looking forward to that. Also looking forward to UFC 273. We have a phenomenal fight card planned. 2 title fights are on the docket. Alex Volkanovski will be defending his belt against the Korean zombie Chang Sung Jung. It will be yeah, it should be a great battle, but I think Volkanovski is the class of the division by far, and I think Korean zombie can take abuse as he's shown, but keep on coming. But yeah, I don't think he has enough to wrestle the belt away from him, and the featherweight crown will remain with Volkanovski. But the co-main event has a lot of controversy. They fought these 2 guys, Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, fought about a year ago, and Peter Yan was winning the fight quite handily until he engaged with Aljamain Sterling, who was down on a knee. He kneed him in the face and dropped him, basically making him incapacitated, unable to continue. Peter Yan was disqualified for an illegal knee strike and was disqualified in the match. The belt was handed over to Aljamain Sterling, first time in UFC history that a guy's won the belt from a disqualification. And yeah, so they tried to do a rematch at UFC 267, but Aljamain Sterling had a lingering neck injury, had to pull out of the match. So the UFC put together an interim belt, Peter Yan against Corey Sandhagen. Yan was able to win via unanimous decision and got the interim belt. So then they tried to put this fight together. There was one more delay, and but we're finally seeing them together. And I guess what we're trying to see is, did Aljamain Sterling learn enough in that match that they had before or in the year since to change the course of the fight? It looked like Yan was going to retain his belt at the time and was going to continue on as the champ. Yan is 16-2 and has just been phenomenal. Had that loss to Aljo, the only other loss was to Magomedov, and Sterling has only lost to Marlon Moraes, Rafael Assunção, and Brian Caraway. And yeah, these are 2 really super skilled bantamweights, and it's going to be a battle, and I can't wait for the rematch to finally happen. But the amazing thing is the fight that is right before this fight in the welterweight division is getting all the media attention, getting all the press. Everybody seems to want to talk about Khamzat Chimaev. He emerged on the scene maybe about 2 years ago, maybe not even quite 2 years ago. Has got a 10-0 record now in the UFC, but is fighting his stiffest competition to date in Gilbert Burns, a longtime veteran of UFC. He has a record of 20-4 and has faced a lot of the top bantamweights, welterweights in the sport. We'll see if Khamzat can continue this meteoric rise. He's had some really huge, very quick victories. Almost everybody seems to be going Khamzat's way when they're predicting the winner and the outcome of this, except champion Israel Adesanya. Seems like he's fully behind Burns and saying that Burns is going to take this. So yeah, we're pretty excited for it. It really amazed that this guy has just been able to eclipse 2 title fights on this card and be the main talking point for all the media, for many of the fighters. Yeah, it seems like they've almost forgotten that there are two belts on the line in this. Everyone wants to talk about Khamzat Chimaev. So good on him that he's been able to get that much media exposure and attention for this card. There's a lot of great fights on the card. There have been a couple fights that have dropped off, but Kelvin Gastelum had a couple opponents and was unable to make it. We get to see a big heavyweight battle between Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Marcin Tybura. I'm excited about that one for sure. And then there's another heavyweight battle between Alexei Oleinik and Jared Vanderaa. Vanderaa is replacing Ilir Latifi, who has had some troubles being able to get himself healthy and ready for the fight. So they have replaced him. Lots of great fights on the card. A couple of cancellations, but still shouldn't diminish a really phenomenal, great card. So we're pretty excited. Okay. As I mentioned, MLB this week. Keep your eye out for the start of the season. A couple of games have been postponed from weather. The first game was supposed to be the 27-time champion New York Yankees facing their bitter rivals, the Boston Red Sox. That game has been pushed a day. So has the Seattle Mariners Minnesota Twins game pushed a day. So instead of 9 games that day and the Yankees being the first game, there'll be 7 games, and we'll see even if weather has to push any other games. But the Blue Jays play Friday. They play the Texas Rangers, and so do the Yankees and the Mariners and many of the other teams. Super excited. Blue Jays, even though they lost a couple of really key pieces this offseason, they've been able to replace them with great talent and amazing batting lineup and a lot of great arms, a lot of really good pitchers on this pitching staff. And for the first time in a long time, most people are predicting that they're going to go all the way to the World Series and win the American League East, which is always super tough with the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Rays. It's just always really tough to emerge from there. But yeah, Matt, are you as excited as I am for all the great sports that are happening this week? It's going to be incredible, and we're really excited. And I do want to mention we also have a couple of big things coming up the following weekend. We've got a tennis tournament here locally. Leila Annie Fernandez is playing. See if you can get tickets. She is become Canada's darling. Amazing performance from her lately in the tennis world, and so lucky that we're getting to see her locally here. I was not going to be able to attend because I was going to be going to the Rugby Sevens at BC Place, but Rugby Sevens have lost me as a patron, as a fan, as somebody that wants to support them, because their ticket prices are just outrageous and ridiculous, and they want to put you in a morning session or an afternoon session instead of a all-day pass, all weekend pass. All weekend pass is so much money that they've priced me right out of the market. I'm not going to support them, and unless they can put it to a more reasonable thing, they've lost me. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I would have promoted it, and I would have talked a lot about the tournament and everything to it, but No, I'm really angry and mad that they have jacked the prices up so badly that yeah, there's not going to be a lot of people very happy with having to pay that kind of outrageous prices and not being able to just buy a ticket that gets me there from morning to night. It's a fun event. Great to be able to put on your nation's colors and go there and support your team. Very fast, very fun, great action. But no, I will not be supporting them this year. They've priced me out. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. It was a solo podcast today. We missed Jason Cameron, and Stefan Capolini was able to step in last week, but nobody this week, doing it solo. So anyway, thanks for sticking in. I love it. Appreciate your support as always. And speaking of support, I want to thank our partners and sponsors, Anchor.fm. Easiest place to make a podcast, phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. Just absolutely a great partner to have. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And the V350 stick is something you need to get in the hands of any player that you have in your friends or family. Pampas and Possibilities, they are designers of West Coast pretty things that you put in your home, in your condo, in your place to live, and really spruce it up and make it look great. Find them on our website. And finally, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Aloe vera is an amazing product that it was really great to see them put into so many phenomenal products. And you can go on our website and purchase products at discounted rates there. So thanks as always to them, and thanks to everyone that helps put this together. It's a lot of work, but it is a labor of love and a lot of fun. And I really always appreciate you watching and listening. And yeah, let's see you very soon. It's midweek. It's going to be a great week ahead. Lots of great sports to check out. And yeah, go to our parent site as well, completemedianetwork.com, and you'll find something there that you love, that you're passionate about. And hopefully we're able to cover the things that you care about. So love you guys lots. Take care of yourself. Have an amazing week ahead, and we'll see you very soon. Okay, take care. Bye for now.